And welcome to this week's video tutorial. And today I will be presenting a match that was played in the 2005 A-League. Red was Grandmaster Lv Qin, one of my favorite players, and black was Grandmaster Xu Chao, who just won the 2019 World Xiangqi Federation Championships. Now, without further ado, let's start the game. The horse opening, which was played by Grandmaster Lv Qin towards the end of his the latter stages of his career. Sandwich horse defense versus single horse defense. And in this match, Grandmaster Xu Chao chose to play c8 plus 4. In another match that was played also in the A-League in 2012, c8 equals to 7 was attempted by Grandmaster Wang Tianyi when he played against Red's Xu Yingchuan. So, trading the chariots. And it will be an even situation at this point. So c8 equals to 7 will be another viable alternative. So as the match went on, at this point in time, Grandmaster Xu Chao decided to play c1 equals to 5 to attack. This was because c7 plus 1 would not be a good idea, as even though black would try to try to pin the red chariot to the bottom rank, because if he did so, red would simply advance his chariot across the river to attack. e3 plus 5 would not be a good idea either, because red would be prepared to play c4 equals to 5 and black would lose his central pawn. So in the match, c1 equals to 5 was played by Grandmaster Xu Chao. And both players traded pieces. Now at this point in time, Grandmaster Lv Qin demonstrated a very, in my opinion, a textbook example of a discovered attack. So at this point in time, black cannot capture the cannon. If he did, check, and black would be forced to move his chariot or lose his chariot to the red chariot. So black would capture the red would capture the black chariot, and at this point in time, the black cannons would not be well positioned, and the red chariot, the speed of the red chariot would be more than what black can handle. So it would be to red's great advantage in this situation. So that was why Grandmaster Xu Chao did not dare to capture the red cannon. Grandmaster Lv Qin continued with superb play and forced black to retreat his horse. This was played to prepare for h8 plus 7. However, if one were to analyze the moves that were made by both players at this point in time, it would seem that the only effective moves that black had made were with the cannons, while red had made many other moves with the cannons, the elephant, the pawn, and the chariot. So by this time, red had amassed a significant advantage, and red will continue with c8 equals to 5. Now perhaps because this match ended in a draw, Grandmaster Lv Qin will make some improvements when the same position was reached a few years later in 2008. In 2008, when Grandmaster Lv Qin played against Hebei's master Shen Peng, he chose to play e3 plus 1 instead. And as can be seen, red would continue to have a significant advantage in this situation, and Grandmaster Lv Qin would go on to win that match against Shen Peng. So in post-mortem analysis, it would seem that c8 equals to 5 would not be as good a move as e3 plus 1. Okay. And at this point in time, we can see that red's heaven and earth cannons were now in place. So that was why red continued with p5 plus 1. However, Grandmaster Zhao Xinxin said in his book that perhaps a better move would have been p9 plus 1, as the red's defense would now be staunch and the black pieces were still very undeveloped. So red could could deliberately play the game at a slower pace and still have a significant advantage. In the match, p5 plus 1 was played. And instead of playing p5 plus 1 as suggested earlier, red chose to attack with c5 equals to 3. Now, why didn't the Grandmaster play p5 plus 1? Because although he would have gained an elephant for his pawn, the position of this red cannon would not be very ideal, and it was vulnerable to attack. So perhaps because of this position shown here, Grandmaster Lv Qin decided to attack with c5 equals to 3 instead. Finally, black was able to move his chariot into action. At this point in time, black had played very proactively and managed to chip away red's advantage in the previous few plies. However, at this point in time, black played h8 plus 6, which was quite questionable. r4 equals to 8 would seem to have been better, because it would have forced the red horse to retreat, and after retreating the horse, black could play h8 plus 6 as planned. So this would be a much better position for black. c8 plus 1 to attack. Now at this point in time, Grandmaster Lv Qin showed some impatience by making this move. This move was made to threaten the black horse, hoping that it would move away to allow the red cannon to traverse across the board, so that red's one cannon, one horse and one chariot combination would be able to attack. However, a better move as suggested by Grandmaster Zhao Xinxin would have been c8 equals to 9 instead of making this move, because not only would red be able to capture the black pawn, he would also have been able to threaten to attack the bottom rank from this flank. Red could have slowed the pace of his attack and still have a significant advantage in the game. And at this point in time, Grandmaster Xu Chao countered brilliantly by playing r4 equals to 2 and giving the black horse as bait. And after much consideration, Grandmaster Lv Qin decided to play c8 equals to 6. The black horse would be poisoned, because if red did indeed capture the horse, the situation on the board would be simplified, and it would be to black's advantage, because the momentum of red's attack would be greatly slowed. So finally, and it was at this point that that black made a very nice move with p5 plus 1. But now this would give black a very open position to play the game. At this point in time, red would not dare to capture the central pawn, because black could attack with h4 plus 5 to attack the chariot. And there would be many options for black to continue attacking. So this was why black decided to sacrifice his pawn. And as can be seen, black has slowly clawed his way back into the game. Now losing the central pawn was inevitable, and black would seem to have an attack going on now. Now a player experienced as Grandmaster Lv Qin knew that the only way that red could try to survive was to play aggressively to aim for a draw, and this was what he did with c1 plus 1, and the result of the match will prove that his strategy was correct. After c1 equals to 5, the black chariot was prepared to go for a checkmate, forcing the red cannon to defend in this manner. And as can be seen, black would now be on the attack, but unfortunately at this point in time, black missed a chance to close the game. As Grandmaster Zhao Xinxing suggested, r2 plus 5 would have been much better, because after r2 plus 5, black could continue with h4 plus 2. Now it would be useless for red to deliver an elbow horse check, because the king would be out and black would immediately threaten with an iron bolt checkmate. So no matter what other move that red might make, black would be prepared to play h2 plus 3 to go for the pale corner horse checkmate. So this was a missed opportunity by black. Check. So given this chance, red continued to play very aggressively. Check. Now, red tried his best to harass the black pieces, but black's defense was simply very solid. Now at this point in time, p1 equals to 2 was another missed opportunity. r2 plus 5 would have won the game for black, and as suggested by Grandmaster Zhao Xinxing. Check. At this point in time, red would not dare to capture the central cannon, or black would now be prepared to checkmate with r2 minus 1. So the black central cannon was poisoned, and that was why red cannot capture it. So if red tried to attack, black will continue in this manner. Check. And black would offer to trade material. However, red cannot capture the black cannon, or he will lose his chariot with this move, and black would have a winning position. So that is why red would have to attack with h6 plus 7, and at this point in time red would lose material and probably the game. So that was why r2 plus 5 would have been another opportunity for black to seal the win. Unfortunately, Grandmaster Xu Chao did not see the move, and given a reprieve, Grandmaster Lv Qin started defending very nicely. And at this point in time, black's attack would have been halted, and red would still have the advantage of 2 pawns. So black was forced to trade more pieces to diffuse the tension on the board. This was another final attempt by black to try to win the match. This was a very delicate move by red, as he will not have to fear black from attacking with r2 plus 3 to harass his king anymore. More defense. And both players were in time trouble, so they would repeat a few moves, and black changed his moves, and black tried to attack from the other flank. And at this point in time, Grandmaster Lv Qin chose the correct strategy to try to trade material, because after trading pieces, the presence of the 2 pawns will still give red a slight advantage in the match and a chance to win the game. So at this point in time, Grandmaster Xu Chao decided that aiming for a draw would be the best move possible. c8 equals to 9 would not be an ideal play, because black will still try to trade material and it will still be a draw. Hence, Grandmaster Xu Chao kept his cool, and both players traded material. And one of the crucial things for red would be to try to push his pawns across the river, because if he did, he would still have a winning situation. And black tried his best to stop it, and at this point in time, both players decided to call it a day and be satisfied with the draw, because black would now be ready to capture the red pawn, and there was nothing that red could do about it. So although this match ended in a draw, it went to and fro. Grandmaster Lv Qin started off the match very nicely and had a huge advantage in the opening, but Grandmaster Xu Chao just refused to back down and slowly clawed his way back into the game, and even managed to gain a winning position. Unfortunately, he missed the 2 opportunities that could have led to a win, and given a reprieve, Grandmaster Lv Qin played superb defense and adopted the correct strategy to go for a draw, and in the end, a draw did happen. So although it ended in a draw, the first 2 phases, the opening phase and the mid-game phase, was very exciting and very educational. I hope you have enjoyed this week's video, and if you like my video, please subscribe to my channel and to give some encouragement. Thank you, and have a nice weekend ahead.